acorns of the world, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're here on my channel, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. So today's reading is a highly interesting one. It is all about with who and when your next relationship is going to be. So if there's one thing that I love, then that is love readings. So if you want to know with who and when your next relationship is going to be, then I strongly advise you to pick one of these 4 groups, because these 4 groups are going to bring you the truth. So just pick whichever stone resonates the most with you, and then scroll down into the description box or into the comment section where you can find the timestamps. So all you gotta do is click your corresponding timestamp and fast forward to your reading to figure out who your next lover is gonna be. So the 4 groups are as follows. We have the Azurite, we have the Black Obsidian, we have the Tiger Eye, as well as the Amber. And also I just wanted to point out that if you feel drawn to multiple groups and you cannot make up your mind, then feel free to tune into multiple readings, because your personal reading could be a mixture between multiple groups. And do not forget to follow me on Instagram if you aren't already. I post a lot of motivational quotes in my stories, as well as snippets of my everyday life. So yeah, you guys, that is it for the intro. As you know, I like to keep my intros short so we can spend more time within the individual readings and just be able to have more time to channel more messages for you. So I'm going to be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Azurite, and to all my other groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Azurite, group number 1, and I want to get into your reading to figure out exactly with whom and when your next relationship is going to be. So first off, we have the 3 of Acorns as well as the 8 of Shells. So one thing that I see here in the 3 of Acorns is that the person that you're going to be with next is somebody who loves to explore. This is somebody who loves to explore new possibilities and is always looking to further their career. In correlation to the 8 of Shells, I see here that they're kind of like on this quest to figure out how they can finally be in a healthy relationship. The person that you're going to be with next has been in some relationships that were a little toxic, that weren't very healthy, and they're trying to change that. They're trying to see what they can do in order to better themselves in relationships. In the Tower, one thing that I see here is that this person has completely let go of the past and past lovers, okay? So this person is not somebody who's still eyeing up their ex or still thinking about, oh, well, you know, I always have this person on the side. Once they're committed, they're 100% committed to you. Furthermore, I also see here that they kind of give you this feeling of stability, and that's mostly why you're drawn to them. That's mostly why you want to be with them and what makes them so attractive to you, because they're like a shoulder to cry on. They're somebody you can trust and confide in, and you feel as though they're not somebody who would ever betray you. And then we have the Queen of Acorns. So in the Queen of Acorns, one thing that I see is that you're both creative people. I see that the passion is something that runs deep between both of you. So you're most likely going to have a great private life, if you know what I mean, group number 1, and you're most likely going to have super fun, intimate sessions with one another. So that is one thing that I see in the Queen of Acorns. What I also see though is that there's a lot of feminine energy, that is nurturing energy, that is energy that just shows like physically you have this closeness, you have this passion, but it's not just like, how should I say, it's not just about the physical. There's also a very deep mental connection there, a very deep caring connection. And then we have a bodywork as well as artist. Okay, so group number 1, in bodywork, one thing that I see here is that this person that you're going to be with next is somebody whose life purpose involves kind of like bodywork, okay, such as like energy healing, such as exercise kind of things, you know, just being present with the physical body, as well as things such as coaching, how to be as present as you possibly can be, how to have the best possible, not aura, but how to like make the best possible first impression. And one thing that I see here in artist is the fact that this person that you're going to be with next is somebody who has a lot of benefit in being artistic, okay? There's a lot of benefit to their career as well as any other area in their life when they allow themselves to be creative. So because they're most likely like their own boss, they're most likely somebody who is like a coach or just at the top of a business where they are teaching others how to be as present as they possibly can be and how to kind of exert the right body language. They need that creative outlet in order to just level themselves out, in order to just make sure that they stay in balance. Because this person, when they're out of balance, they're most likely not very enjoyable to be around, as I can see in the Queen of Acorns as well as the Three of Acorns, that things can get heated, okay? They can feel as though like, okay, I'm not in the wrong, this person is blaming me for something that I didn't do, and I'm just not going to back down. Okay, we have choose a new direction as well as ask your angels. So group number one, I see as though the path that you're on currently is not the path on which you are most likely going to meet them very soon, okay? I see that in order to figure out exactly where to go next and where to meet them, you have to ask your angels, you have to ask your guides, you have to kind of just allow yourself to be led in the right direction, because right now you're kind of moving in an opposite direction than this person. You're kind of moving a little bit like away from them. So choose a new direction in order to get closer to them. Then we have success as well as wait. So it's very important for you to choose that new direction and know that you just have to give it a moment, okay? So choosing a new direction is not going to channel them into your life within days, but within a shorter frame of time. You just have to give it a little bit of patience. You just have to give it a little bit of that extra time to mold, to form itself. And I definitely see, you know, that this is a relationship that is going to be successful. This is one that is going to be based on mutual interests as well as mutual respect. But whether it is your twin flame relationship or not, I'm not 100% sure. We need to look further into that. We have the Hanged Man as well as strength. So one thing that I see here in strength is the fact that this relationship is one that is going to be able to endure the test of time. This relationship is one that can kind of like overcome anything. And I see here in the Hanged Man that where your opinions really differ or clash is when you fail to see the other person's point of view, is when you fail to see it from another perspective, because you both are very opinionated, you both have strong feelings about certain aspects in life, and that is where you often clash, because you both don't want to back down. You're both the types who are like, okay, if I strongly believe in something, if there is a confrontation with my partner, then so be it. But I know what I'm talking about, and I know what I mean when I say these things. So it's important for you to know that in order to make this relationship last, you have to sometimes be the bigger person, which means backing down, which I know sounds very controversial, because backing down would mean making yourself smaller, but it's not. You are actually being the bigger person. You're actually showing this strength, which is empathetic, which is not trying to just win, which is not trying to just come out on top, but true inner strength is being soft, is being the kind of person who doesn't need to exert strength in order to show that they're strong. So I see kind of like that you mentally stimulate each other a lot, okay? And as I said, you have to choose a new direction. It depends on you how long it takes you to do so. It could be in a few days, it could be a few months, that really depends on you. But once you have chosen a new direction, give it a little bit of time for the dust to settle in this world, and they will appear. There will be the success of meeting them, the success of being with them, and just enjoying this togetherness. So group number one, when you meet them depends a little bit on when you're able to make that step in a new direction in your life, in a new like life path direction. But from then on, I would say just give it a few weeks, maybe a few months, and you will be able to meet this person. So group number one, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that it gave you the insight that you were striving to find, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings. Hello group number two, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Black Obsidian group number two, which is a stone that is very protective. Its energy is highly kind of protective in the form of protecting you from EMFs, electromagnetic fields, and just other sorts of negativity that may try to intrude into your life. So that may be why you subconsciously felt drawn to the stone, but maybe you just also liked its appearance. Let's move into your reading to figure out exactly when and with whom your next relationship is going to be. So we have the Ten of Shells as well as the Nine of Feathers. In the Ten of Shells, first and foremost, I see kind of like emotional fulfillment. I see you being on cloud nine with this person. So beware of seeing things out of rose-colored glasses, because oftentimes when we feel super blessed, when we feel super happy to be with somebody, we kind of fail to see all of the red flags. We fail to see the things that are maybe not okay or not healthy. So look out for that, group number 2. In the Nine of Feathers, I see here that one thing that is going to come with being with them, one thing about being with this person, is that they make you feel empowered. They can see your perspective. They can see your point of view. They just get you. There's no other way to say it, group number 2. So this is one thing that I feel like you may have been longing or yearning for a long time. Just somebody who understands where you're coming from, who can empathize with how you feel, even though they may never be able to truly know what it feels like to have gone through what you've been through. They try to understand, and that is the big difference between who you've been with in the past and who is coming for you within this realm. And then we have no, as well as the situation will improve. So I see here that before you meet them, things are going to get a little worse or a little more lonely before things get better. Okay, that is one thing that I see here. I see that you will come to points where you feel like, oh, who is this next person that I'm going to meet? How are they going to be? When are they finally going to enter my life? And you're going to come to points where you feel like, well, maybe I'm just going to be alone for the next little bit or forever. Maybe I'm just never going to find this person. So I definitely see that mentally you're going to be going through a lot of different things till you meet them. So you may be a fast processor and you go through a million different emotions in just a matter of days and weeks. You may also be somebody who really takes their time, who needs months. So this process and the timing of meeting them really depends on the kind of person that you are. And then we have get more information, yes, as well as not the right time. So I want you to know that it's important to keep in mind that you have to collect as much information about this person as you possibly can, because you have the tendency to give people chances before knowing what you need to know, and then you end up wasting a lot of time giving a lot of people chances out of the goodness of your own heart, because you're kind of like just wanting to click, you're wanting to connect, because you feel as though, you know, we're all equal, so why not give somebody a chance? But collect a bit more information, especially after you have watched this reading. You will know more about this person and who they are, so look out for those things as signs, as things that you get within your reading, okay? Because for a lot of people who are trying to enter your life, it is just not the right time. They're either too early or too late, and it's just not going to work. For you, timing is something that is very important when it comes to love. I see that the wrong timing can just throw everything off. Meeting the right person when either they're in a relationship or you are, or you're just not ready to, for instance, move countries or just change your entire life. That is something that is fatal to potential connection. So look out for that aspect, group number 2. Then we have books as well as freedom. So one thing that I see here in freedom is that this person that you're going to be with is somebody who has the freedom to choose whatever they want in life. So this may be because they're financially free for whatever reason. They may have worked really hard for it. They may have worked very smart for it, or maybe it is something that just came with who they are as a person, with their family, with their background. In books, one thing that I see here is that they connect through books, okay? Their life purpose connects through books. They're most likely somebody who puts a lot of value on academic success, as well as just furthering your knowledge privately. They don't feel as though just because you spent 3 decades in school or however long in school that puts you above anybody or makes you particularly intelligent. They feel as though being a student for life and just continuously learning, continuously reading is what everybody should actually be doing in order to stay on track and in order to stay up to date, to continuously stimulate our brain cells. So this person is somebody who likes to have a deep conversation, who likes to talk about anything and everything and just get to points where you're mentally just in a completely like different zone. Like for instance, where you're talking about space or how the human race was created, what is going to come next when it comes to technology. So they're a very worldly person. Leave a little world globe emoji down below if you chose this group number 2. So furthermore, I definitely see that there's somebody who's well-traveled and, as I said, knows a lot about a lot of different things and wants to be with somebody who is the same, who likes to travel and who also wants to continue learning and informing themselves about everything that's going on. And then we have strength, as well as the Queen of Acorns. So one thing that I see here in strength is the fact that this person has had to put in a lot of work to get to where they are now, to have this kind of freedom, okay? This freedom in having more time than the usual person, or more financial kind of backing, you know what I mean? So in the Queen of Acorns, I see here that they now have the time to put all of their energy into their passions and creativity. But because it's been hard to get to this point, or they've been through a lot in their life, they're a little bit depleted, okay? They like to take naps, they like to sleep. So you may think to yourself, wow, that's me actually. But you got to give them that time. You got to give them that space, because if they don't have time to recuperate, if they don't have time to recuperate, if they don't have time to fill up their energy and love tank, then they will not be happy in the relationship. Then we have the Four of Shells, as well as the Eight of Shells. Okay, so one thing that I see here within your reading is that they're most likely of a water sign, okay, group number 2. They're connected to their emotions. They know how to express them. They're most likely somebody who has been, for instance, an only child, or maybe, you know, a single male that grew up with a lot of females and just knows, therefore, how to connect with their emotional realm more than, say, the stereotype. And in the Eight of Shells, I see here that there's somebody who always sees a lot of abundance and love. They just love love. They want to be loved, and they want to share love. In the Four of Shells, I see here that they're always reevaluating their actions. So when you get into an argument with them, they're the one to think about, like, oh, maybe I should apologize, maybe that was wrong. They have a strong emotional intelligence that goes unmatched by a lot of people, okay? So they're emotionally and academically very intelligent, and they want somebody who challenges them. They want somebody that they can have a deep conversation with. So group number 2, that's the kind of person that you're going to be with next. So I truly hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope that it was insightful and that it gave you peace of mind. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Tiger Eye, which is one of my personal faves. Absolutely love this stone, and a lot of you say that it looks like a piece of cake, which, you know, I'm not judging group number 3, but let's move into your reading. So we have the Star as well as the Seven of Shells. So one thing that I see here about the person that you're going to be with next, as well as, you know, when you're going to be with them, is kind of when you see this little glimmer of hope, okay? So there have been a lot of glimmers of hope, most likely, in your love life. There may have been a lot of times where you felt as though, okay, this might be it, but it wasn't quite there. But I see that when you feel this next kind of like, might this be the person that I'm supposed to be with? And you feel this inner peace. So maybe usually you felt a little bit of turmoil, you felt a little bit of anxiety, but with this person, you're going to feel at peace. You're just going to have this inner knowing that's just like, yes, this is meant to be. In the Seven of Shells, I see here that you both have choices, okay? So you are most likely somebody who is attractive, and don't even tell me down below in the comment section how you're a potato. You are not, okay? So this is what I see within your reading. You're most likely attractive with choices, and they are most likely also attractive with choices in love. So for you two to say that you want to be with one another means something. It is not just a meaning, let's try it out. It is actively making the choice to be with one another, even though you could have easily chose to be with somebody who maybe doesn't want that much commitment, or who maybe is lower maintenance, if you know what I mean. Then we have the Eight of Shells, as well as the Ten of Shells. So we have a lot of water energy here. This is Scorpio energy, Pisces energy, Cancer energy. So know that this person might be any one of those signs, but also look out when it comes to that. If you are one of those signs, then you know exactly what I mean. You can sometimes fall into being overly emotional or being the victim or kind of a little bit manipulative, and that's okay. Each sign has its pros and cons, but I want you to know that in order to be happy, in order to feel fulfilled, you have to kind of try to push those tendencies down. And the same goes for if this person is of a water sign, okay? It is important for you to know that for the well-being of both of you, you have to kind of try to restrict how much you fall into those patterns that are destructive. In the Eight of Shells, I see here that they are currently on a quest to finding the right one. So they actively want to be in a relationship. They actively want to engage in commitment. So they are ready when you're ready, group number 3, okay? So all we're really waiting for is for you to meet one another. After that, things are going to move very quickly, which I also want to warn you about just gently, because, you know, my channel is here for me to be honest with you. And I just want you to know that things will feel like bliss very quickly, but you want it to last for as long as possible. So try not to rush into things and try to just enjoy getting to know each other and enjoy one another's company for as long as you possibly can. Then we have a creative expression, we have a builder, as well as trust. Okay, so one thing that I see here in correlation to this person is that they're the kind of person who gets a deep sense of accomplishment when they build something big. So they may actually be somebody like an architect, they may be a actual builder, but they could also be somebody who builds businesses, okay? So that is something that you don't see so, how should I say, clearly before you. That's where building goes on a lot in the back end, but either way, there's somebody who just kind of puts the building blocks on top of one another, stacks them, and creates something, okay? And I see here in creative expression that while their profession may not seem that creative to a lot of people, like for instance, a business person or an architect, it is creative, but in another way, it's also very calculated. It's also very much driven on profit. To them, that is their creative venture. To them, that is their kind of creative expression. They see creativity in numbers and being precise and in creating things that are sophisticated. And trust, one thing that I see here is that they have had a hard time kind of trusting that they're on the right path, okay? So this is maybe something that you're also dealing with, group number 3. And I want you to know that trusting is hard to do, but it is actually an indication of true strength. When you just trust the universe, you trust that you are a good person, so therefore you will be able to attract the things that you need, the things that are supposed to be in your life. And I see here that, as I said, this person that you're going to be with next, that you're supposed to be with next, they struggled with that because, you know, they've been through things where people and opportunities have been taken away from them, and that has made it hard for them to trust in the good. Because often when things happen very suddenly, things that are difficult to digest, you know, it could be an accident, it could be losing somebody, it could be losing a job or an opportunity, you think to yourself, how can I trust that there's something out there for the greater good if I've been hurt so badly, if this pain has been inflicted upon me without even knowing why, without even knowing what I could have done to deserve this. So I totally get that, group number 3, but I want you to know here that at the end of the day, there are reasons for most things. Sometimes things can seem cruel and almost as though they shouldn't have happened to you or anybody. But at the end of the day, you know, things that happen, we don't have explanations yet as to where people's energy goes once, for instance, their heart stops beating, or once, you know, things are just done and dusted. But one thing that we do know is that, you know, energy is never lost in this world. Even when you, for instance, recycle things, that is reused, right? When you, for instance, use things and create new things with them. So what I mean is, for instance, when certain substances are created in labs, you just use one thing to create another. Even if you throw things in the trash, they're not gone. They're still in this world. They're still going to go through the process of, say, being recycled or being thrown in the ocean, then going into the crust of the earth, maybe coming back out as crystals, who knows? But nothing is ever just gone, if you know what I mean. So that is the same thing that I see here, that they are trying to kind of come to terms with, and that they're trying to deal with after some traumatic experiences that they may have had in their life. Then we have choose a new direction as well as success. So one of you needs to choose a new direction, okay? Right now, you're not on the quickest path to being with one another. Then we have no need to worry, as well as it's up to you. So it's very clear that you're not on the quickest path to one another. And I see here that you can probably feel it in your heart that there's something that you need to do in business, in your life, to steer yourself in a little bit of a more challenging direction, even though it's scary. But it's important that you do so if you want to meet this person sooner rather than later. I see here that to a certain degree, it is up to you when you meet them, okay? To a certain degree, it is completely in your hands whether you are able to connect with them and be with them sooner rather than later. So don't worry so much, but instead act, get those projects done that you need to get done. If you have to quit your job because you know it's not healthy for you, if you have to start your own business because you know that that's what you dream of, do so, because that networking event that you're going to go to in your town, that may be where you're supposed to meet them. That new job venture where you're going to start a whole new kind of chapter of your life after quitting a toxic job, a job that just had toxic people and a toxic environment in them, that may be where you are supposed to meet this person again. So know that where you're at right now is not where you're going to meet them. You're going to have to make a big life decision for them to enter your life group number 3. So I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you did, leave a little swan emoji down below, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the amber group number 4, which is actually not a mineral. It is a piece of fossilized tree resin. In case you didn't know, there are tons of really amazing inclusive ambers that have, for instance, animals that are in this tree resin that you can see, and it's just gorgeous, and it feels very light. I wish you could feel it. It's not like any of the other rocks. It is a very, very light substance. But anyways, let's move into your reading to figure out exactly with who and when your next relationship is going to be. So we have the Page of Acorns as well as the Eight of Acorns. The acorns, the suit of acorns, corresponds to fire signs. So there is some fire energy involved here. If you have very strong fire energy in your birth chart, that is something that just is an indicator to you that this is more about you than them, okay? This reading is more about what you can do to channel them into your life than about them. So in the Page of Acorns, one thing that I see here is that just reigniting your enthusiasm for love is important. You may feel a little bit kind of let down about love, or almost a little bit cynical at times, and that is something you just need to banish. You just need to get rid of that, sis, okay? It is not time for that, and it is not the kind of energy that you want to be putting out in order to attract this person into your life. In the Eight of Acorns, I see here that this person is positive, and when I say positive, like they could be drowning with 10 rocks tied to their feet, and they would still think to themselves, wow, like what positive can come out of this? Maybe I'm going to end up, making it to the deepest point of the ocean and becoming basically a mermaid. Like they have the most optimistic outlook on life, and they're always just focused on results. They're always just focused on, putting their energy where they feel as though they can get results. Then we have Awakening, as well as the Ace of Acorns. So I definitely see here that they're a very confident person. That is also just one thing that fire signs exude more than other signs, which is confidence, which is entering a room and making an impression, having this energy that people they look up when they're looking down, reading something on their phones. If you enter a room, they look up. Then in the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Acorns, furthermore, I see here that they're very they have this creative force. They're not just creative, they have a creative force. So they're always inclined to actually do things, to actually actively get things done. I see here in the Awakening that they have come to an enlightenment where they realize, like, hey, if I want things to change in my life, if I want to do like a 180 and really turn my life around, I have to take action. I can't wait for things to happen to me or for me. I have to go out and make them happen. So they're the kind of person who is very high energy, okay? They're high energy in the sense of always trying to get things done, always trying to seize opportunities. So if you're a bit of a couch potato, know that they're the one who's gonna get you off that couch. Then we have counseling as well as children. So this person most likely works with children, with people who they are teaching, okay? So I see here that their life purpose involves helping, it involves teaching, healing children, healing those who are younger than them, who are less knowledgeable than them. In counseling, I see here that they heal through their aura, through their kind words, okay? They give amazing advice, and they're the kind of person who always has an empathetic ear, who's always willing to listen to other people's dreams, aspirations, but also fears and problems. So this person has a very humanitarian kind of streak to them. They're somebody who has a lot of benevolent qualities, all of the qualities that you want to see in human beings, and you know, they're just overall a very giving person, and that is where they need to be careful, because they have been used many times, but that giving streak has never been taken from them. And that is true strength, group number 4. I want you to keep that in mind. This person is somebody who is truly strong, not just pretending to be strong and pretending to be a big person. They actually internally are. Then we have yes. We have no need to worry, as well as it's up to you. So it seems that this person is closer to you than you imagined. This person is closer to entering your life than you thought, and you have to look for a sign. That is one thing that I see. So there are signs around you. These could be synchronicities. If you keep seeing 111, 11, you know, 11 past 1 o'clock, those are all signs that, you know, the new beginning with this person is nearing. Meeting them is nearing. Having a new person enter your life is coming towards you. You have to take leadership. You have to be the one who is following the signs, not dismissing them and not thinking to yourself, you're just going crazy, but actually, you know, figuring out what that means for you, when those signs pop up, and what that means in correlation to the action that you're meant to take, okay? So I see here that you should worry less and kind of know that a lot of this has to do with you. A lot of meeting them is up to you. So there's no big kind of like blockage here that I see in your reading. There's nothing that's really stopping you from meeting this person sooner rather than later. The only thing is kind of you taking these signs seriously and following them, okay? So then we have the King of Crystals, as well as transformation. So in transformation, one thing that I see here is that you have to just free yourself of feeling embarrassed when it comes to love. So sometimes you may, for instance, feel like, oh, you want to try online dating, but you think it's embarrassing, or you think that only weird people are going to be on there or do that. But there are a lot of spaces for like-minded people. You just need to find them, liberate yourself, be a part of the community, and meet new people that way. Furthermore, in the King of Crystals, I see here that you have to commit and just do whatever it is that you want to do. So you can meet them within the next month, okay? You can meet them within the next few weeks, but it could also take many months, up to a year, 2 years to meet this person, group number 4. It all kind of depends on your commitment. It kind of depends on how soon you will be able to let go of caring about what other people think, of caring about what may happen if somebody sees your dating profile or figures out that you're trying online dating. Of course, that's just an example. You could also want to go out by yourself more in order to heighten the chances of meeting people out and about by yourself, okay? So one thing that I see here that's important is for you to just keep the courage going, because sometimes we get this kind of like infusion of courage where we're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but then a few days later you sort of start to retract back into your old ways and you pull back and you lose the courageous streak within you. So it's important for you to just keep yourself out there, make yourself available, and this person will enter your life in no time. But the courage needs to be genuine. So if it takes you a very long time to transform, to liberate yourself from worrying about what others may think or worrying about what your success rate is going to be in love, then of course you're going to be subconsciously holding yourself back more than necessary, which is going to extend the time that it takes for you to meet them. But In the meantime, you know, they are focused on their job, they're focused on children, on teaching, on healing, on helping people, on having that empathetic ear. So they may be, for instance, a doctor, they may be a teacher, they may be, for instance, a counselor, you know, somebody who has a very significant role in people's lives, somebody that you remember when you think of them. Like, for instance, if you think of the memorable people who have helped you in life, or who have given you solid advice, or who have helped you get to the point that you're at right now, helped keep you safe, sane, healthy. That is the kind of person that they are. So group number 4, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section what hit home for you, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings.